I was thinking it's been almost exactly a year since you started
Yeah,
working
I
with
think it was
me.
like October. Yeah,
Yeah, so this is just perfect timing.
it
Um,
is. Yeah.
can you remember uh, going back to over a year ago, why you sought me out? Like what a normal day looked like for you before you sought out hypnotherapy?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a rough time for me. Yeah, I was basically covered in a like upper body complete flare. And I think that was really just the physical pain was a big part of it. I think like at the point where I started seeking out the therapy, the mental part kind of started taking over as well.
Mhm.
I was just in a constant like negative thought loop, and like it wasn't just affecting me, it was affecting all the people around me, and it was affecting all areas of my life. Like I literally just couldn't even do the most basic tasks. Like I mean, you know it, like showering, like getting dressed. It was just like the physical pain, but then also mentally kind of getting yourself to do it when you're going through all of these things. It was just, yeah, I was in a very low place. Like, honestly, that was probably one of the lowest places I've been throughout my journey because
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing so much, but I wasn't getting anywhere, you know? And so it was like that self-blame also came in where I was just like,
Yeah, that's massive.
yeah, I was just like blaming myself because I felt like I should be in a certain place because of everything that I was doing for myself, but
Yes.
I wasn't going anywhere because I was like, yeah, it was also this like perfectionist mindset and those things that was also getting in the way. And yeah, I just felt like, okay, something has to change. And,
Yeah.
you know, I was doing so much for myself in terms of lifestyle, food, like all of those things, but I felt like I needed that therapy aspect. Like I didn't know exactly what I was looking for when I started looking, let's
Yeah.
say. I think like I was considering like talking therapy. I felt like I just needed to have an outlet.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, then coming across your Instagram page, I just immediately felt connected. And it was just like I've never worked with somebody that's actually been through what I've been through.
Mm.
And so I think like seeing that like you really understood, like I remember seeing the video that I saw from you was like with a partner or something. And I was relating to that so much because it was starting to to affect my relationship at the time. And so
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like you get it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I felt like I could really identify with you. And yeah, I thought the hypnotherapy was super interesting because I was aware that I had negative thought loops, but I
Yeah.
didn't know how to get out of it, you
That's the
know?
thing. Yeah, when people say like I'm working on my diet and I'm working on my sleep and I'm trying to get better communication with them in my relationship, you know,
Hmm.
there is a certain amount of that that you can do by yourself.
Hmm.
But when it comes to that negative loop, there's only so much self-help that you can do because
Yeah.
you end up being stuck. And
Yeah. You're so in
yeah,
it. Hmm.
exactly. I mean, even me as a therapist, I can't therapy myself. You know, I
Hmm.
have my own therapist to help me with that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I had your original goals written down here, and it was, as you said, um, impacting the relationship less. So you were
Hmm.
feeling more independent, having better
Hmm.
communication, managing
Hmm.
the flares better, improved sleep and anxiety, less self-blame, more self-compassion.
Hmm.
Um, absolutely, and of course, the physical pain, dealing with the discomfort.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, all of these things, like it's hard enough to deal with one or two of them. And
Hmm.
then when it comes to skin conditions, people come to me with like a shopping list almost because they're like,
Hmm.
look at all these things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, no wonder you're emotionally and physically exhausted. Right.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
okay. So do you remember, again, this might be asking too much because it was a year ago, but do you remember when you first noticed a kind of shift at all, were there, or a little sign that things were changing?
Once I started working with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like the gratitude list, I feel like that started helping me kind of get into the mindset of like, okay, what are things that I can look for that are actually good in my life? And
Yes.
instead of constantly focusing on the negative, like you said, like because there was such a long list of the negative,
Yes.
it was consuming me. Like it was just like the focus was constantly on that, and the focus was always on like trying to help myself and like what can I do more and more and more. And I
Mm.
think like it really brought me back to first of all doing one thing at a time.
Yes,
I think that
one
was a big
baby
one
step
for
at a
me.
time.
Yeah, exactly. Baby steps. Like I know all of these things, but it's so hard to implement it. And I think like I expected myself to be in a certain place and I wasn't. And so then I was blaming myself for that as well. And so I think you really helped me kind of bring myself back to like, okay, I'm doing so much and like I can be grateful for that and I can show
Yeah,
myself compassion in that.
love.
Um, and like, yeah, to just take a breather, like to just sit back, be like, realize everything that I'm actually doing. And I think like when you're constantly striving for more, you can never be happy in the place where you are. And I
Yes.
think that was like my issue at
Oh,
at
okay.
the
Yeah. So that was a
yeah.
big turning point for you is actually
Mhm.
stop chasing something, stop living
Yeah.
in the future or even the past,
Yeah.
but just be present in the now, realize
Mhm.
what you do have, realize how well you are coping,
Mhm.
because you did have
Yeah.
lots of things that you were achieving every day, but
Exactly.
you weren't paying attention to that because,
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
anything that wasn't going right, that's where you were zooming in on. So,
Exactly.
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And did you find anything surprising while working together? Was there like one or a couple of things in particular that really surprised you about the process?
Um, gosh, yeah. I mean, a few things probably. I think like working with you in general, like it was such a nice experience because you just made it feel so comfortable and like I always felt understood. Whatever I said, like I always knew that you were just coming from a place of like, I get it,
Yeah.
Like literally didn't even have to say many words, you just got it. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I've never experienced something like that working with a professional. Like I always kind of felt like I had to like explain myself in some sort of way, and I still didn't feel quite understood.
Yeah, there's a lot of that within the skin community with medical
Mhm.
professionals, right? It's that kind of we're
Yeah,
having to over explain ourselves and still not feel validated. So
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
a really nice
That was a
point
big
to,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
to highlight.
Yeah, and then I think the hypnotherapy itself, like I've done like one session with my mom actually. But it's different. And so I think like that was just a whole journey for me to kind of experience that for the first time and like yeah, it was super cool. Like I think it really opened up a whole new perspective for me. So that was
Yeah,
really cool.
excellent. Nice. So going to what your life looks like now, post hypnotherapy,
Yeah.
what were the changes that you saw?
Yeah, so many. I think like the tools that you gave me, they really helped me to when I did get to a place where I felt like okay, things are not so well because I think like after we stopped working with each other, um there was definitely like a phase where I was not so good. And so I feel like working with you was gave me the tools and it like empowered me to be able to see like, okay, I can get through this and I know what to do in
Yeah,
this situation. And it didn't feel like I had to give up or like lose hope like I did before. I didn't fall back into that like, oh my gosh, like everything is just, you know,
yeah. How am I ever going to get out of
loading and
this
like how am
position?
I ever going to get out of this? It was more like, okay, I'm in this. This is just a phase. This is part of my journey. There's going to be ups and downs, but at least now I actually know how to move forward. And I think
Yeah,
like that really just gave me the confidence in myself as well. I feel like before it was like, okay, I was doing a lot of things, but I think like I wasn't confident in like, okay, this is actually going to help me. You know
yeah.
what I
I've
mean?
got this. Whatever happens,
Right.
I'm going to be able to handle it. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
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 And I think,
Yeah, the trust, the self-trust. Exactly.
oh, yeah, it's a nice word, self-trust. Yeah, that belief and that hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, lots of clients do say this, but I remember you in particular really enjoying the science behind what we were
Mm-hmm.
doing,
Oh,
and coming out of it with a much deeper understanding of your
yeah.
brain, which, as you
Yeah.
said, then gives you your own tools because, the idea of this isn't that you're in therapy for years,
Hmm.
it's you get all the tools and then you can do it yourself. And I'm always
Yeah.
here to support you if you need to come back. But I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
were one of my very first clients to sign up
Hmm.
to my program, the
Yeah.
9-week course which
Yeah.
gives you lifetime access, right, to all of the notes and stuff. Have you
Hmm.
actually like gone back and revisited that much?
Yeah, occasionally I did. I think especially like the science things. Like I
Yeah,
tell so many people about the like experiments that you told me about
yeah, the
because those
research.
really blew my mind. Like I think I'm very much a person who like when I can kind of understand the backstory to things. I can actually commit to something way better, like
Yeah,
to be able to understand like, okay, why am I doing this and what are the actual effects going to be and like to be able to see like in a real life experiment to be able to see like okay, this is what happened. It's
yeah,
like you can just apply it way better to your own life
yeah.
and Yeah, that was really fascinating. I really loved that you kind of integrated because it's like you don't just get the therapy, but you also learn while you're doing it. Like you actually learn the science behind it. And I think that's a big thing in like being able to move forward to not just like have the tools, but also understand why are these tools helpful, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Nice. And
Mhm.
so looking back on your goals of, improving sleep and anxiety, improving the
Mhm.
impact on the relationship,
Mhm.
how do you feel like those went for you in the end?
Yeah, good. I feel like sleep has been a topic for me still to this day.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, yeah, I again, it just comes back to the tools. I think it's like I
Mhm.
just have to be consistent with it. And like when I realize that things are not going as well as they could, let's say, then I know what to come back to, you
Yes.
know? So yeah, that was really good. And like with the anxiety as well, it's like it's just coming back to like coming back to myself, coming back
Mm,
to the affirmations and like the gratitude and coming back to the positive and like taking the focus away from all of the things that are not going well and
yes.
going to the things that are in my control and that like I actually have power over.
Yeah.
And that in the end helps you get out of it, you know?
Yeah, so you're able to like, yes, the anxiety is sometimes still there and it tries to rear its head, but you don't go
Hmm.
down that spiral as much anymore because you're like,
Yeah,
I know these things worked for me.
exactly.
Obviously it's different for everyone. And as you said, like the gratitude, the affirmation, those things really hit home for you. So you know that you can come back to them.
Yeah.
Um, Lovely, nice. I mean, what would you say to someone else who was maybe in your position a year ago and is thinking about like, oh my God, how do I get out of this? Any words of wisdom or encouragement?
Yeah, I think like finding something to be able to believe in a
Mm,
positive outcome. Like, yeah, for me it was very much just that thought of like, am I ever gonna get out of it? And so I think like shifting that perspective and also creating a new identity for yourself. I feel like kind of
lovely.
stepping into that, like, okay, what do I want my future self to be like? And then
Yes.
visualizing that in your present self, because I think like that really helps to be able to see, like, okay, this is what I'm working towards, and like, what would that version of me do right now? And then, like, that's how you actually get to that place.
Yeah, we did a lot of that kind of like, yeah, what would be different for your future self? How can we take a
Exactly.
step towards that? So
Yeah.
yeah, actually being able to visualize or imagine that
Mhm.
future that you want for yourself, building that hope and optimism that we've mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a big, big thing. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for chatting with me
Thank
today.
you. Oh, you're amazing. Thank you so much.